Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today we're going to be talking about Virgin Galactic, known as SPCE. Now today we're going to be giving a bit of due diligence, latest news, technical analysis, institutional buyers, analyst coverages, and what I think about this one, as well as short interest. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. So Virgin Galactic. Some of the latest news that we can actually start taking a look at are straight on from their website. Now, I'll go through the news, then this presentation from the 10th of May. So on the latest news, Virgin Galactic receives approval from FAA for full commercial launch license following the success of May test flight. Now, this is fundamentally important relating towards their entire mission of basically, just to kind of sum it short, is tourism in space in that sense. So the company also announced that it has completed extensive review of data gathered from its May 22 test flight and confirmed that the flight performed well against all flight objectives. The adjustment to Virgin Galactic's operator's license, which the company held since 2016, marks the first time that the FAA has licensed a space line to fly customers. It is further validation of the company's methodology of testing program, which has also met verification and validation criteria required by the FAA. Now, the CAA said, "We're incredibly pleased with the results of our most common recent test flight, which achieved our started flight test objective, and the flight performed flawlessly. The result demonstrates safety and elegance in our flight system. Today's approval by the FAA of our fully commercial launch license, in conjunction with the success of May 22nd test flight, gives us the confidence as we proceed forward to fully crewed test flights this summer." So we get a little bit of a date, or at least kind of an idea that this summer they're going to go with a full crew launch. Now, as well, they give you more information relating to the rocket power test updates, the cabin environments, everything was up to check, etc. Now, onto there as well, you going back onto the June 3rd, Virgin Galactic announced new contract for human-intended research space flight. The IIAS research Kelly Girardi to fly as a payload specialist on the research mission. Now, this one here was a collaboration with academic and government partners to carefully plan Kelly's flight or activities to maximize the science and technology advancements gained from the research experiments. Now, all that stuff is exciting from also with reworking with the Canadian space agencies, etc. But in a sense, that's not what it's actually moving on. Now, yes, the latest news did definitely help with the push relating towards the FAA commercial license, and that they're going to be able to actually put flying customers onto this one. Now, a quick idea relating towards their financials, and just bear with me, I'll get to the short interest in a second. I'm just trying to give you a video that is a bit more useful rather than short interest, high hedges, gonna get burned, buy now to the moon kind of stuff. So hopefully I'm able to give you a good perspective. Now, in terms of their cash, as of March 31st, 2021, they had around $617 million, very strong in cash. Their net loss is around $130 million per quarter. That is compared to around $377 million from the first quarter in 2020, which basically really shows you that their cash itself is extensive. They will probably last more than a year. And their net loss is a lot less than what it was before, almost at a third. So that's very, very bullish. Now, when we're looking into the short interest, we get to see that the short float is sitting currently at 2026. So that is actually considerably high. And when we're looking into the short volume for short interest per day, on the last day, on the 25th, that we got the bullish news for the FAA commercial, the current total volume is around 261 million shares, which is actually multiple times more than the relative volume, average volume of 24 million. To be specific, around 12.67 times more than the average volume. And in that, you saw around a short volume of 67 million shares, around 30% volume of short ratio. Now, that is insane for one reason. The market cap, or the entire shares float, is relating towards 169 million.4. By the way, market cap is something different. It's the shares outstanding multiplied by the shares price. So the short float is 170 million. And we ended up seeing, or sorry, the entire float is 170 million. The short volume in the last day was around 77 million, and the short float is looking at 20.26% of your total shares float. So that is a little bit concerning, and that's why a lot of people are considering buying this one to push it into a squeeze, as it is above 20%, and it looks like a lot of companies or a lot of institutions are continuing short. That volume is insane. 76.8 million onto the short side, multiplied by around 56 million shares. Sorry, $56 a share. That is in almost the billions level. Now, from there on, let's take a look into institutional buyers. And we get to see that institution is very bullish relating to this one. They continue to add on it on the 25th, 24th, almost millions of shares into June itself. Very bullish in that sense. And before moving on forward, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to drop down a like below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and leave notifications on in the bottom right corner. And if you would like to talk a bit more about this one, you can go to the description. The Discord link is totally free in the description below. Now, in terms of other news, etc., they appear to have, from the presentation, some updates back on the 10th of May that we can a little bit get a view about their strategic priorities. So the first one is fleet readiness, and that looks like it's on the right track. Fleet expansion, that will take a bit of time. Customer experience and commercial strategies. Suborbital spaceflight markets, it's private astronauts, microgravity research, and professional astronaut training. And really, from what I understood from Virgin Galactic, is they're trying to get more of just tourism or tours relating to that into space as well. And they're with their FAA commercial license, that is very much for reality. Now, EMI corrective actions including suppress EMI generated by flight control computer, added electronic components to filter and prevent generation of EMI, dampen stray EMI generated by the ship's wiring, and improved harness shielding and added components to suppress conductive EMI. Now, the flight testing program, the first flight currently reevaluating launch timing, rocket-powered spaceflight with 2 pilots on board. The second flight is 2 pilots and full cabin of mission specialist. The third flight is to demonstrate private astronaut experience, and manifest includes Sir Richard Branson. Fourth flight demonstrates microgravity research and professional astronauts training market. Now, I believe that the first flight that already passed on, we're currently going on towards a second flight with a full crew. Now, fleet expansions, you're looking into the VSS Imagine, the first Spaceship 3 class vehicle on March 30, 2021. Ground tested followed by flight testing and focused on scaling design and development capabilities, both relating towards spaceships, rocket motors, and motherships. In terms of customer experience, they're building a customer business on top of the aerospace company with commercial strategy and brand architecture and marketing strategies. Now, in terms of the financial strategies, you're looking into basic aligning financial planning with operational objective, private astronaut markets, more than around 600 future astronauts reservations, and plan to reopen ticket sales around Sir Richard Branson's flight. So I believe that's the third flight as well. And microgravity research and professional astronauts training includes introductory flights, first full revenue flight, $2 million total, and around a $500,000 per seat equivalent. The current pricing goes around $600,000 per seat equivalent. So that's a lot of money that can easily be put in towards the company, and to balance that net loss of around 1.2 or 129 million, my bad, not 1.2 million. I wish that was the case. Now, we can take a look into technical analysis. Now, before going on towards technical analysis, a quick thing I did want to take a look at is the analysis from different analysts. Currently, it has 6 buy, 4 holds. Now, the current average price target is around 28.67, which does bring it down from where it is right now, around 48.72% on the downside. The high is sitting around $41, again still lower from where it is currently right now, and the lowest price target is at $18. That is catastrophically lower than where we're at right now from the last price at $55.91. Now, the other thing I do want to take a look at as well is very similar from the previous one, is from this Questrade analysis that I have from my broker. It shows that this one has a score of 8 out of 10. So currently it's showing outperform. The analyst ratings are moderate buy with an average price target of 28.67. Bloggers' opinion appear to be bullish. Hedge funds activity are not reported and insider activities are not reported. Tip ranks investors are a bit more negative in the last 30 days, but the news sentiment is very bullish, so I wouldn't see why they're very negative. Technicals are both very bullish on the SMA and momentum. Fundamentals are a little bit low on return on equity because they weren't really creating much revenue before relating towards the direct sales of these tickets, but the future can really hold much of a surprise for a lot of people. So let's move on now towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis on the 1 month, 1 day perspective, you're starting to see that the moving averages are bullish in almost every sense. 10 SMAs above the 30 EMA, although the 200 SMAs above the 50 SMA, currently something very interesting is happening where the 50 SMA is curving up closer towards the 200 SMA, and in the next week they're going to create something called a golden cross. And if you would like to know a bit more about this one, golden cross, or sometimes people confuse it and call it golden star, what you're seeing is that this is a very bullish indicator that is seen by a lot of technical analysts. Now, the 80X is sitting at 49.42. That's the average directional index. Above 50, you need to start worrying. So we're really getting closer towards that it might actually get you a bit of a pullback. William percent R is highly overspot, which means the momentum technically would bring in more selling action. But the MACD is incredibly bullish. It was attempting a negative reversal on the 21st of June and rejected that. And momentum is very, very bullish. So a little bit mixed on the technical analysis, especially on the 80X, but everything else looks like flying colors and very bullish. Stochastic fast and stochastic slow are both telling you to be careful where the next support is, just in case it does drop quickly. Current volumes are one of the highest and one of the largest we've ever almost seen. Now, the current Bollinger Bands, which is a moving average momentum bands, is sitting at the top of 47.21 and 25.27 at the bottom. Now, they're continuously expanding, and usually price point actions do lie within the Bollinger Bands. But currently what we're seeing is something very similar to here, where the price point does exceed the Bollinger Bands and the Bollinger Bands itself expands to capture that price point. So nothing really to worry about, but it might actually still see a bit of a pullback. Now again, it really depends on retail and short interest. I'll talk about that in a second. Now it's very important to know where your Fibonacci retracements, supports, and resistances lie for one significant reason, because high frequency traders, hedge funds, etc. use it. So the current support on the Fibonacci retracements is sitting at 52.38. Now below there, 44.22, 38.50, 32.77, and 25.68. The only resistance on the Fibonacci retracements is a 62.80. Now the current price line action, we can start looking at supports and resistances. Now the current price point action sitting after hours is closer to 60, so that means the only current support at it is around 59.52. That's the direct one. Below there, 8.80, so 58.80. Below there, you're looking down to 57.29. Below there, 56.10, and then a bit down below to 54.52 and 53.09. Now I know there might be a bit more numbers, 51.50, and then down to 49.52, and then down to 47.14. But the comforting thing is that there is a lot of supports just underneath it, and then it starts gapping down a little. So that should give you a bit more comfort that there is some support levels that are close to each other. Below there, 42.30, you're looking into 39.61, and then 36.43, and then down to $35, and then down to 35.58, and then down to 30.17, down to 27.63, and then down to 24.61, 23.50, and then down to 21.76. The current resistances, there's only a few, around the 671 and the 62.80. Now above there, it really can explode, because here's what I think is going to happen. On Monday, there's going to be a lot of attention towards this one as it breaks the 60. And if it does break the 60, 63 is not far off. So retail is probably going to start typing and sharing this news that this one is going to break an all-time high resistance. Now, from there on, I really do expect for it to skyrocket perhaps to $70 if it does break that. Retail has a lot of power, and the current kind of a message that a lot of people are trying to show is that this one is going to go to moon because it's going to screw the shorts, and in that sense, it is pulling another AMC and multiplied multiple times higher than where it is right now. Just keep in mind, if it does fail, like for instance, a 6280 before, it did drop all the way down to 1427. So that is a massive drop. But hopefully that doesn't happen again. It has a bit of history of jumping high and then dropping. But this time they have their FAA commercial license and they're very close to coming in around. The only problem is their fundamentals is not there, but it's highly shorted around 20-ish%. And with around more than 75 or 79 million shares being shorted or on the short side on short interest on the last trading day. So the main idea is, can you actually short squeeze it? In all technicality, yes, it is possible. Would it happen? It has a potential, and that's where a lot of the attention is going on. What do you think about this one? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you made it this far into the video, I do recommend that you go ahead and join our Discord server. There's a lot of amazing folks in here. We do a lot of discussions here into the trading floor throughout the day. A lot of people are in there, and we do ask questions. You can ask me any question you would like on there. We do post research and DDs, and we hold weekly chat sessions. And we also do have a lounge in there. So make sure to actually join that and join the fun there. Have a wonderful day and a good one.